manage, you can see how things work, so that later on, as your company increases in size and complexity and locations, you now have competence and experience behind you. So, you know, if the company is small, it's not an issue. You can begin your system. And then the last thing, which is just a reinforcement, is that the environmental management system really utilizes a lot of good common sense, and it can focus on aspects. So, for example, if your operation produces a lot of solid waste, you might want to begin to develop an environmental management program around that, which can eventually evolve into the larger system for your company. So size is not an issue in this case.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to make a slight change and to ask your indulgence as well. One is that due to the cross-section of the stellar participants that we have here, I'd like to deviate from presentation of what we have on the agenda as the report structure, because when this program was planned, it was anticipated that it would have been attended by the companies that would benefit from the 15 energy audits that PSOJ had offered. But so it means that if I should concentrate on that, many of you would be left out of the picture in my presentation. But you recall I did not complete my previous presentation either, which I believe a part of it is of more relevance to everybody and will prepare you for later. That's one. Number two, it's not going to be long, so if you indulge me for, say, another extra time for about 10, 15 minutes, I would be able to wrap up just before lunch. Do I have your permission? Yes, because by the vex with you. And most of what Martha had discussed in her presentation with regards to the structure of the report, my presentation would have been about a similar fashion anyway, so you have missed a lot for those of you who will benefit from the audit.
So this will be on the CD, right?
On the CD, right? Okay. We are from multidiscipline scenarios, and there is a very important aspect of energy and environmental management, both from the standpoint of professional offerings and from the standpoint of those who would like to implement projects. And that is really the whole concept of Energy Services Company, or ESCO. So I'll present that concept to you, and it is my hope, and I've been throwing out words, competitor, and all that sort of thing. Jamaica only has about 2 or 3 bona fide ESCO companies. We have companies here, engineering, technical companies, that are capable of being ESCOs in their own right, but they have not been going in that direction. For whatever reason I won't get into now. But we need to get more ESCOs on board. You will observe also that from Stanley Smelly's very good presentation, you'd recognize that it's 100% local, right? All the data collection, consultancy, implementation, 100% Jamaican. There's no reference to anybody outside of Jamaica as to what is best for the University of the West Indies. So I'm proud of that, right? And yeah, really, you know, it proves that if we can do it, if I can do it, you can do it, engineers among us, our architects, consultants among us can do it too. It proves that there's this thing about, this myth about capacity building. Every time consultants come from abroad, they talk about, oh, the capacity is not here. If we can convert the largest property in the Caribbean, 6 megawatts of electricity demand, 100% local, and convert it, there's no reason why the local people here in business, the business leaders now, should not feel free and confident to call upon local people to do the work. It is proven. All we need is for the banks to come on board immediately. One bank, I'm sure, is ready to come on board, or has been rearing to go. But we hope that through PSOJ's support, it will happen, and they will inform us on how it will happen. Okay? So that's my message and prayer that these things will take place. So I quickly conclude what I discussed, and we spoke about the possibilities, alternative energy sources. We've got to be careful that we don't beat this alternative energy thing to a pulp. If we try to beat it to a pulp, it is going to beat us to a pulp. It is too easy for people, local people, to say, okay, let's get rid of JPSCO, let's go solar. Let's get some pigs and put them out there and get biogas and we produce our own electricity, etc., 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 right? While we suffer and just die as businesses, right? Let's get LNG, let's get coal peat, let's go, grow grass and produce electricity. What we need to do is just simply improve efficiency, right? A US businessman, billionaire, said, look, if these measures were so great, they would have been implemented all over the United States if that's going to make everybody millionaires, right? We've got to start with efficiency. So, please. Photovoltaics for lighting, yes, that's great. Electric to solar water heating, retrofit, we should do a lot more of those. Cogeneration systems utilizing diesel and LPG, that's where I call it, would say we need to do more of that. JPSCO, for instance, burns fuel to produce electricity. At what efficiency? 23% to 27%. Right? That's the efficiency. It means now that even if they operate at 30% efficiency, 70% of the oil that we import in Jamaica goes up in smoke. That's the reality. Even if they come out at top efficiency at 30, 70% of what we pay and suffer of goes up in smoke. There's a time to operate systems at 80% and 90% efficiency to produce electricity. How do you do that? Cogeneration. You produce your own electricity, and you can, in a lot of facilities, especially those that work double shift or preferably 3 shift, produce all or some of your electricity, utilize the heat from the generator to do useful work. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it cannot be converted from one form to another. And that's what cogeneration is all about. Cogeneration, engine runs. You capture the heat from the exhaust, you capture the heat from lubricating oil, you capture the heat from the cooling water. Convert that heat to useful work. You can either utilize it for processed heat, space heating or drying, hot water, and air conditioning. It has been done in Jamaica for years. It can still be done, it's not being done enough. Ritz-Carlton Hotel, as an example, produce all their electricity. They have never utilized any power from JPSCO. The heat from the generator